Okay, good evening. This is Carol, Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 MHz in Sacramento. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between our transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. The double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. We have two early check-ins already. We have Alpha India 6 Delta Golf Joel and Kilo Lima 7 Hotel Quebec Romeo Neil. Any other station who wishes to check in, please respond with your full call sign. Okay, I don't hear anybody else yet, and so I guess we can go ahead and proceed. We are live streaming also on YouTube, and anybody on YouTube, you're welcome to comment in the chat. Live chat is on, and also watch us as we're receiving pictures and sending pictures here via Slow Scan TV. So we're going to go to the first one on the list here, Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. Joel, do you have any pictures for us? You're welcome to go ahead and send. Over.
Okay, so quick check. That tone the correct audio level?
No, I did not. I didn't hear any tone that time. Yeah, that's good. That sounds good. Go ahead.
Level. Come again, I didn't hear a response.
QSL, the tone was a good level. Over. Okay, yeah, this picture came over quite well, Joel. There is a little horizontal bar towards the top, but that was due to I'm sorry, I needed to mute my microphone here, and it caused a little bit of interference there, just a little bar across the top. But picture came through nice and clear. I have no idea what this is. Uh, hmm, I don't know. It's can't I really can't say. It's a circuit board with some uh, relays. It looks like possibly on there. There's like two green uh, circuit boards on the top side, and then on the bottom there's something that looks like some relays on another whiteboard. Over to you, Neil. How did you copy that KL7HQR? This is KP4MD.
Scale 7HQ. I had a little bit of problem here, so I got only half of the picture, but very, very clear, the part that I got. And basically, your description fits mine. I'm comparing what I got with what I see on the YouTube transmission, and my reception is much sharper. So, good copy. Curious to know what it is.
Yeah, go ahead, Joel. AI6DG, this is KP4MD. Go ahead.
I mentioned this actually at some point in the past. This is the remote QTH rotor controller that I ordered and received and built. Came as a kit. The surface mount parts were already mounted, but so it was mostly just assembly and a little bit of minor through-hole soldering, so it was a pretty simple kit. This is to take the place of a rotor controller. I've got a rotor. I didn't get a working controller with it. So on the whiteboard in the center, we're looking down into the case of it. The whiteboard is the relay and the interface board. So you've got on the left, the big metal thing on the left, mounted on that board is the USB connector that goes to the computer. To the right is like a DB15 connector that's used to interface with a power supply and cable that actually goes to the rotor. And then the black things are the relays. So then you see some red jumpers and miscellaneous components. The top is the front panel, and those two boards. One of them is the display board. There's a little 2-line 16-character LCD display. Some more jumpers. Those are the red things. The blue things are some 10-turn pots. And I mounted just above those, between that and the black thing that actually is the front panel, are some switches. So you've got 3 switches to push to do like clockwise, counterclockwise, and one of them is labeled start. I haven't actually loaded the final software to figure out what those are. But this is kind of a generic controller. It works with a number of different types of controllers, because some of them have pots, some of them have pulses as the rotor turns. And depending upon how you jumper it, it should be able to work with just about any rotor. And I'm looking forward to getting this working and having a little more directionality. This is part of the general project of getting a hex beam up on the roof. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, AI6DG, this is KP4MD. So this is a remote control. It's a rotor control, but you're just going to be using this in your shack to control the rotor up on your roof. Is that what you're going to do with this?
Correct. It takes the place of whatever normally comes with the rotor. And most of those, especially the low-end ones, don't have any ability for computer control. With this, I can plug it into, it can be used standalone, but I can also plug it into a computer using the USB cable. And in my case, I probably wouldn't, if I ever wanted to use it with remote access, in other words, be able to access it from outside the shack, I probably would have to hook it like to a Pi or something, Raspberry Pi. Well, either that or leave the computer running all the time. I mean, it doesn't have an Ethernet interface. Is kind of the bottom line of what I'm saying.
Okay, so let me guess. With this thing, you can, for example, if you hear a particular station, you can put the call sign in, and your computer will look up the grid square for that station and calculate the bearing for your antenna and automatically turn it there. Over.
It doesn't do all of that. It would be part of a system that it could do that. This is just controlling the rotor itself. And then when it's hooked to the computer, other software on the computer would be able to interface to it. But it's just a part of the system. Actually, I think the normal software that you would use with this on the computer, you would just click buttons to have it go to certain directions. But I'm sure that it would interface using standard commands. I haven't looked that far into it, so I don't know what command set it responds to over the USB, but I'm assuming that it's a standard.
Yeah, I've heard of systems like I guess DX Labs or Ham Radio Deluxe that has they have their logging programs that interface directly with a computer-controlled rotor, and they can do that sort of thing just by seeing the grid square of where that station is when they come in on a DX spot. That's interesting. So it's certainly going to open up a lot of capabilities for you there if you're seriously into that. Neil, like to go pass it over to you if you have any comments, and then if you have a picture to send. KL7HQR, this is KP4MD.
KP4MD and KI60G KL7HQR. Yeah, would be interesting if you could send me a link to the site for this. This sounds like an intriguing device, and I want to at least take another look if possible.
I believe it's remoteqth.com. Let me double check that.
Okay, copying it down here. Okay, I will look into that. I don't have any technical ham radio pictures to send, but I have one in here that I would like to share. Let's see if it works. I'm going to send it also on the PD120 and see how it goes.
Yeah, okay, we're waiting for your picture, Neil.
set it up incorrectly because I don't know if I'll have a chance to send it again because obviously the picture size is incorrect.
Okay, yeah, this is a PD120. I think PD120 requires a 640 pixel picture, and I think you put a 320 pixel picture in it. But that's the reason why it only takes up a quarter of the window. But okay, we got that picture. It looks like the one of the old space shuttles, and on on the launching pad there, and somebody in the foreground. Um, Joel, AI60G, how did you copy that? Over?
Well, it seemed like it ended early too. Um, I mean, if it had been a wrong size into PD120, it would have. I would have had a bottom half in white instead of it ending halfway down. I didn't get a full picture. But I noticed there's a slant to the picture, but that could just be adjustments on my side. But yeah, it looks like a guy standing in front of the space shuttle on top of what's that mobile, that big mobile thing that they use to get the launches out of the launch building to the launch pad. In fact, it looks like I don't know if it's at the pad. I see a bunch of stuff on the left. That's the space shuttle, I presume.
KL7HQR. Yeah, it would be okay if I try to send that on Martin 1 and see if I can send the whole thing. That is myself. I used to go and audit the company that made the solid state boosters on the shuttle, and I had to go to Canada and do some audit there once a year. Went there for about 10 years. And that's the STS-98, the launch of STS-98 Discovery. And I have quite a few pictures of that activity. And you're correct. The shuttle is on the pad. This is about 48 hours before launch, and it's on top of what they used to call the MLP, the Mobile Launch Platform, which looks like just a big piece of gray item in there to transport it, but in reality, it's actually a building, a two-story building. It feels like inside a ship, a Navy ship, and with computers and everything. And that is transported by the big transporter brings it in, puts it in place, and the transporter leaves. And that's basically what it is. So maybe I should just let another picture being sent by one of you, and then I'll see what I can do about getting another picture similar to send in Martin 1.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for doing that. Yeah, I think this, if you were to send this Martin 1, it would probably come out correctly. It looks like you kind of aborted the picture halfway through. That's what happened. We only got the top half of the screen. And yeah, Joel, you're right. It was slanted at the beginning, but I have auto slant turned on, so it corrected for that. Um, okay, let me just take a standby. Are there any other stations that'd like to join us on the River City Arc Slow Scan TV net? If so, please come now. Okay, nothing heard. I'll go ahead and I'll send a picture then. This will be Martin 1. And if you're looking on YouTube, you'll see what it is. Okay, okay. AI6DG, Joel, how did that come over to you? This is KP4MD.
Excellent. Just a few noise pops. Is that your house, your trailer? And I'm assuming that's today and in commemoration of the holiday. American flag. What is that? Marines? I don't understand I don't recognize the two rear flags, but I'm assuming the first one, the middle one is one of the armed services, and I don't have any idea what that rear one is. But I think that's in keeping with the holiday today.
Yeah, very good. How about you, Neil? How did you get this picture? KL7HQR, over.
Very good copy. Very good copy. No problem at all. Beautiful collars and sharp and no slants at all. And I don't recognize the other two flags. I'm an Air Force person. That does not quite look like the Air Force. The colors are right, but I cannot guess. But it came through beautifully. Maybe you should have waited for the wind to open the flag a little bit better.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, we have a tradition here of putting out the flags on these federal holidays. And actually, the middle flag there is the U.S. Navy flag, which was a service that I was in for 8 years. And then the other flag, the white flag, is a Coast Guard flag. And yeah, it was kind of wrapped up. You really couldn't see the insignia on it very well. But that was my husband Roger's service. He was in the service for 36 years, and he was retired. So he had the tradition of putting out these flags on these federal holidays, and we're keeping this tradition alive. I think it's a really good thing to do. I actually had the U.S. flag also out on election day, and um, I think it's good that we have some of our unifying flags here because I didn't fly any political stuff. That I'm not going to get into that now, but the politics has been really way in overdrive this year, and I think what we need is just some representation of unity in this country. So that's my statement on that. Sorry, I don't have an Air Force flag. I was never in the Air Force, and neither was Roger. So, any other comments on this KP4MD?
KL7HUR. Yeah, I 100% agree that unity is what's needed. And congratulations to you. And unfortunately, I never had the pleasure of meeting your husband. And but it's a great idea. And now you gave me an idea because up on top of my tower, I have the lanyard with two ends. On one end, I have the American flag. Now I'm going to get the U.S. Air Force flag to go up on the other side. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great idea. Thank you so much, Neil. So we'll go back up to the top of the list. I think we have enough time to do another go round here, Joel, AI6DG. Do you have another picture for us? Over.
Unlike my usual PD120, this one's Martin 1. Let's throw a little variety in.
Yeah, okay. This is KP4MD. Guess what? I had a problem that time. And if you were following along on YouTube, all of a sudden my MMS STV was not decoding. I had to restart it again. Can I ask you a favor, Joel, and send that one more time so I can actually get it here? Because I only got the bottom, uh, like quarter of the frame over.
Okay, here it is again.
Okay, very good. I got it this time. See your call sign, big letters in the top there. And the picture is kind of squished in the middle. I mean, there's a big black bar on the top and also on the bottom. But I think I've seen this picture before. I don't know if this is from somewhere in Yosemite. It's a big plateau with pine trees on it, and it looks like a gigantic waterfall going right off the edge of that plateau. And if I'm not mistaken, in the foreground on top of that plateau on this side of the water, there's a bunch of people standing there. That's, if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen a picture like this from you before. Very beautiful picture and kind of scary. I can imagine the scale of all that for those people that are watching that. So over to you, Neil. How did you copy that? KL7HQR, this is KP4MD.
Well, I am continuing to learn things in here. I just found out that I can enlarge the picture and put it in a full screen, basically. Perfect description. I would like to know which fall this is. And it's not only the scale, but it's such one specific spot. So I imagine that's a tremendous amount of water going down. And obviously this picture was taken from what apparently was taken for top of another hill or another rock in front. Beautiful. I don't think it's a drone picture. This looks like very, very, very nice. Any further description on where this is?
Yeah, go ahead, Joel. This is KP4MD.
So this is a picture I've sent before. So sorry, Carol, you've seen it before, but I don't think the others have, which is why I sent it. I'm out of preloaded pictures, so I'm having to recycle some I have already preloaded. This is Vernal Falls, and this is in Yosemite. So the Merced River comes down the Merced River Canyon, and is actually above where it enters Yosemite Valley. There's a trailhead called Happy Isles. Yeah, this is Happy Isles. So Happy Isles is the trailhead, and the trailhead goes up the Merced River Canyon, following alongside Merced River, and at one point it crosses a bridge. Trail does, and it crosses the river. And at that point, just above there, it splits off into two trails, and the Mist Trail basically follows the river, and there's another trail called John Muir Trail that kind of follows the slopes up above the river to the east. And at one point, it gets to a place called Union Point, and it continues up above everything, but there's a little cross trail that goes between the two trails. And this is from one point along there, looking down across the canyon at Bruno Falls. So the rocks and trees on the bottom are in the foreground, and everything on the top of the falls is across the canyon, actually. And you're right that those little colored dots to the left of the falls, right of the falls, are people taking in the water. It is a large amount of water, falling a long ways. Mist Trail is actually below this perspective, following up the canyon and off. And actually, there's a place just to the right of where you see the people in that cliff face, where I guess they must have dynamited a slot in the cliff face where people can hike up. There's railing and a slot just behind the rocks that you can see. It makes more sense when you look at the map, and especially when you're there. This is Vernal Falls. Emerald Pool is visible just in the center right upper part of the picture. You can see some green. This is actually probably one that would have benefited from me sending in higher resolution like PD 120. But anyway, just one beautiful view of Vernal Falls in Yosemite. Back to net AI6DG.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that description. Do we have any other questions about this picture before we continue?
You passed to me, Kill 7 Square. No other questions. But when it comes my turn, I would like to see what I made, what mistakes I made on getting the picture that was the wrong size. Am I correct in assuming that if I want to import a picture in the larger size, like the PD 120, I will have to on transmit select that mode first before I bring the picture into the library? Is that correct?
Okay, I don't know if I got the question correct, but what you have to do if you want to send a picture in PD 120 is inside the box in the lower part of the lower half of your window, you have to click inside there and set the size. You have to change the size from 320 times 256 up to 640 times 496. What you do is you right click inside the blank box, and it brings up a menu, and you go down to size and you change the size, and then you import the picture into there, and then the picture will be ready for your PD 120 if that's what you want to do. Was that your question?
You understood correctly. So I have to select the size that I want to send in first on a blank slate, and then import the picture to that size. Yeah, That's probably what I have to do. Well, thank you very much, Carol. Keep on learning. Back to you.
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
To elaborate, at least from my perspective, you've got two steps where you're selecting the size. When you're loading the picture, and that's what Carol was talking about, doing a right click and selecting the size. So if you've got a blank picture at the bottom, when you do a right click, there's a size selection. And then that's the size that the picture is imported as. When you do another right click and do the what is it? Do they say upload? What do they call it? Load from file. So at the bottom there's where you can select a size, and at the top there's a load from file. So when you select the size and then do a load from file, that's the size of the photo that will get loaded. Let it drop. And then when you want to add it to transmit, you do the transmit tab, and you select the mode you want to transmit it as. And each mode has a size associated with it, and it needs to be the same size as what you've loaded the picture as down below. Otherwise, it's not going to come out right. Maybe Carol can elaborate, but I hope I'm making sense. Back to Net AI6DG.
Yeah, that's correct. What you need to do is if you want to send PD120, you could right click on the PD120 button and it'll bring up the whole menu of the different modes, and it'll indicate the size of the image that has to go with that. So with the 640 times 496 is one that'll go with PD120. Over to you, Neil, if you want to send a picture.
Roger, Carol. No, it's a good explanation. So in that case, I'm going to stay with margin 1 because I believe that I loaded them all in the same size. So we have a nice nature picture. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to stick with my my technical pictures on my side here for tonight. I'll see if I can get more variety for the next time. So let me get ready and send another one.
Okay, Neil, that picture came over very well. Probably a little couple dozen of these little green and red pixel dots around. Of course, that's just the paved pause interference in the band. That's normal. But yeah, this looks like also kind of a historical picture. It doesn't look like any kind of uh, panel that I've recognized from Flight Simulator, and uh, it doesn't look like whoever that is in an astronaut suit either, but they have the helmet on. So interesting. I wonder if that has to do anything with that space shuttle that we saw in the other picture. Over to you, Joel. How did you copy that AI6DG in the group? This is KP4 Mike Delta.
Well, when you mentioned the spacesuit, I noticed, wait a minute, he's wearing a tie, so that's just the helmet he's wearing. And I'm imagining this is him. Is this the space shuttle? That's a lot of controls, but it's also, I noticed the displays. So is this, as I remember, they did an upgrade of the shuttles at one point, adding electronic displays like this. So is this like after that upgrade? Is this a space shuttle? I guess that's the first question. Or what, is it a simulator of one of them? I'm looking out the windows, and it doesn't really, I'm not sure what I'm seeing out the windows. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to a description. Back to Net AI6DG.
K7HQR. Well, you both got it correctly. This is the SMS, or Space Mission Simulator, with a motion system at Johnson Space Center. And this was taken around 1996, 95. I was the quality assurance manager for software for an upgrade. I worked for a subcontractor, a Singer Link, which built the simulator, and we were doing an upgrade to the motion, to the visual, and to the sound system of the simulator. They had three fixed base simulators and only one motion. This is the motion one. So when we were about to do the final test to transition it back to NASA, we had to do the motion, and the motion it would do extended pitch and put the cockpit in a position for launch instead of the horizontal position. So myself and a couple of other engineers, we had a chance to be inside the simulator to do the first flight. I'm right in the picture. I'm sitting on the commander's seat, but I was sitting on the MS, the mission specialist seat, with a couple of astronauts there. So we had to put the cockpit in that position. But after 3 months of people working on that, we never knew what was going to come down. Screws and nuts, because we were extremely careful. But you never know. So we were required to wear the helmets for that first opportunity. So that's basically what it is. It's before the METS, which was the glass cockpit implementation. So this is the original as the shuttle was built before. Go ahead, back to Matt.
Okay, so you said something about the space station. Is this a mock-up of what's actually up in the International Space Station? Over?
If I did say that, I misspoke badly. This is way, way, way before the space station. This is the Space Shuttle mission simulator.
Okay, yeah, okay, I get it now. Yeah, because what I've seen, well, of course they don't show us anything about the driving controls. I don't think the space station has any driving controls because it's actually a stationary object up there. I mean, they do have some thrusters to adjust the orbit, but nothing like this because they're not going to fly the whole space station down into the atmosphere. Except, I guess at one time they're probably when its lifetime is over, somehow it's going to. I don't know what they're going to do to dispose of it, or if there's any plans to do that. That would be a major headache, I would imagine, recycling the space station when it's completed its useful life. Uh, anybody else have any comments on this picture before we continue? It's KP4MD. Okay, nothing heard. We'll take a standby again to see are there any other stations that would like to join us on the Slow Scan TV Net. This is KP4 Mike Delta. Okay, nothing heard. I'm going to go ahead and send a picture. I did load a picture that was 640 by 496, and I'm going to send a PD 120. I'm just curious to see how good the definition is on this. And there it is. We're going to go ahead and send it. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta. Oh, I see you put your ID into the. You actually transmitted your ID. It populated in the call sign here in my MMSSTV there, Neil. Okay, let's go ahead and send this Kilo Papa for Mike Delta. Okay, Joel, AI60G, this is KP Farm Day. How'd that come over? Over.
Very well, because it had the black background. Every single little noise pop is quite obvious. So there's quite a few of them that I can see. Blue, green, a few reds. This looks like maybe out of a nano VNA. I can see a scale on the bottom. It looks like it's from 3 meg up to 30 meg. And the scale on the left, 1 up to, 23? So I don't know what those are of, but it's a graph. Are those? Oh, they're not peaks. They're probably dips. Let's see here. So we have a dip at 80, 40. Yeah. So okay. So it's an SWR graph of a multi-band antenna. Let's see here. 7, 10. I'm trying to see if it's the band 21, 24, 28. Yeah. Ham bands. Although I see one green spike just to the left of the center that's not making sense because it kind of looks like it's splitting off from the normal graph. So I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I look forward to the description of the antenna that this is VAC-NA AI6DG.
Yeah, very observant. Yeah, that one spike is a glitch, by the way. And how about you, Neil? How did you copy that? KL7HQR KP4MD.
Well, first of all, the description of what I received is exactly what you sent by looking at the internet, YouTube, and like it was indicated, a lot of artifacts all over the black area. The green trace, extremely clear, very, very clear. But somebody has better eyes than I have. I'm trying to decipher the scales, both on the left and on the bottom, and I don't have that kind of resolution. I could not. I don't know if it's receiving my display or my eyes. I could not get the scales, but without knowing what the scales are, I would not have been able to interpret. But the image is very, very clear.
Okay, yeah, if you use the RX viewer, you can expand the image to your full screen size so you can see a bit better. But those numbers are quite fuzzy, just like Joel said. And you're right, Joel, you interpreted it correctly. This is a screen capture from a Nano VNA sweep that I did today from 3 megahertz. The bottom scale there is frequency. It starts actually with 3,000 kilohertz and 6.0 megs and 9.0 megs, and it ends at 30 megs on the right. And then the scale on the left, the vertical scale, starts at 1.0 SWR, and 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. And this is a sweep of my 40 meter full wave horizontal loop antenna, and it's showing the resonances. It's got actually a resonance on 80 meters, 40, um, 30, 20 meters, 17, 15, 12, and 10 meters. So it's got SWR minima on all the ham bands except for 5 megahertz. So this is an awesome antenna, and it works great. I mean, it doesn't get the SWR down below 2 to 1 on all of the bands, but using an antenna tuner, it is really easy to get a really good match on this loop skywire. So I thought I'd just show this off to show you how awesome that is. And the antenna is probably the best multi-band HF antenna I've ever had experience with. I'm really happy with it. So any other questions about this? This is KP4MD.
KL7HQR. I have the Nano Nano DNA. I forgot. I'm getting. It was a long day, but I apologize. But I have to learn a little bit more about using it because I need to do that to my long wire. So back to the books and studying a little bit more. Before we close the net, I want to say that I am really enjoying this. Not only here when we do the displays, but also what we did during the week. A lot of good learning, good communication, and I look forward to having a new date and time of the week next week to repeat the learning experience. Back to that, KL7HQR.
Yeah, okay, Neil. Yeah, this, by the way, is a screen capture from the Nano VNA Saver software that I use with the Nano VNA. Of course, it makes it a lot easier to see because you're seeing a screen on your computer monitor rather than looking at the tiny little screen on the unit itself. And there's so many great ways you can manipulate the information that's displayed and do screen captures with it and uh, share it with other people like the way we're doing it just now. And I'm glad you're enjoying Slow Scan TV. If maybe at one time we'll go over the history of this. This was actually invented, this mode, by a gentleman named Copthorne MacDonald, who was a ham operator. And this technology was used on the Apollo space missions that went to the moon. And the first images that we had of a person stepping on the moon, we got those images sent back to us through a form of slow scan television back then. So this is really a historical mode that we're using, and it's still currently used. And we should see more of this come back onto HF once the propagation picks up a bit. I have rarely seen some people sending slow scan on the 20 meter frequency, which is 14.230 upper sideband. Um, but when the propagation is much better, that frequency is usually just hopping with all kinds of pictures, usually on the weekends. So we're up to the top of the hour here, and I think we'll call it quits now. We've had a wonderful net. Thank you for all of the very interesting pictures that were being sent. Before we close the net, do we have any further comments? This is KP4MD.
7 HQR. First question is, when you obtained this trace with nano VNA, were you connected at the feed point of the antenna or in the shack?
Okay, this picture I took at the in the shack. Actually, I have it. Be at the feed point antenna, I would have to climb a ladder and get on the roof, and I wasn't about to do that today. But I actually know the characteristics of the transmission line, and there's a way to put it into the software so it'll compensate for that, and it'll actually measure the actual feed point impedance, compensating for the length of your transmission line. Over.
Roger, Roger. I have the same situation because I have to climb on a two-story roof to do that. So, anyway, that's nothing to do with the SSTV itself. Thank you, Carol. And F6DG, if you want to hang around after the YouTube closes, I would have a question for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we're up to 10 p.m. now, Pacific time. And we wish to thank all who participated in tonight's slow scan TV net. And we hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The net is now officially closed at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is KP4MD. Carol wishing you all a good evening and 70.